Hello everyone, welcome to this Directual review video. Today I'm going to be talking you through everything you need to know about Directual, and as usual, if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll also be leaving a discount link in the description of this video so that you can always get your money's worth for Directual. So Directual is a no-code platform that allows you to develop apps using Amazon's infrastructure. So here we are on the main page, and you can create, as you can see, applications, and you have your dashboard and everything you need down the left, and then obviously the overall features in the middle. Now, before we get started, let's talk about what an application is and why somebody might want to use this. So basically, if you want to create an app, sometimes you need to have a knowledge of coding prior, and typically for most apps, they will have been developed using, a form of coding language. But then again, not everybody knows how to code, and for that reason, it's really useful to be able to have these websites where you don't need to know a specific coding language, and all you need to do is have the idea in your head, and you're able to do everything from there. Now, an application for many different websites, if you have ever created maybe a bot for Twitter or Spotify, an application is where you essentially create. It's almost like applying for a bot, but it won't obviously get accepted, it's automatic, but it's where you can manage everything to do with your development in that section. So we could go ahead and hit create a blank app, or we can use popular templates. So if we did, for example, want to use a template, we'll, for example, do a user portal, tourist attractions, but we'll go ahead and do a public roadmap. And this is basically where, this is one of the things that you might be able to do on this website, where you can request, upvote, or watch specific features to be implemented. So this is essentially what it would look like. And to add it, you would simply hit the use template. Put in your system name. So I will put Opulent in, OPULENT, and then the app displayed name is optional, and the description will just say an app for a road map. There we go. And then when we hit next, it will then ask what template we want to use. If we did accidentally hit the wrong one, we'll hit with public roadmap and we'll keep with that. And then what we can do is use a free plan there and then hit create app, and the app has been created. So here we have it, and these are all the different options that we have. So on the dashboard, we're able to look at every single section of the website that we have. So front end, which is what everybody sees, what people interact with on the website. The back end, so things like databases, scenarios, the users, and storage for things that will appear on the website. And then also your API layer, so any webhooks that you've got to be integrated with it, or any endpoints that you also have. As well as that, you have the API load, also you have get and post, and then any HTTP requests that you've got, so you can make sure that you're not overloading your website with incoming or outgoing requests. As well as that, you have your processing load, so you can make sure that it's not using too much processing power, and also your logs will appear down here as well, where you can change all the different things that have happened, application logs and any exceptions that you've got, and also filter through that if you need to as well. But moving on to the web pages, you can go through every single different page that you've got. So obviously with this template, you have all of these ones that have already been preset up. So you have the roadmap itself, you have the features to upvote it, feature request page, you can watch specific features and people can have a look at the ones that they've had a little look at. You can manage features, you can have a look at all the users, manage all the tags for specific posts and people and things like that, and options and features on the roadmap, and also your profile and information about the template. Now what you can do is so whether you actually want to have these appear on your portal by hitting this little on and off arrow. You can create new web pages here by putting a title where it's going to route to, so the overall domain that it will be, the web address that you'd have to put in. So if you had, for example, Google, if you wanted to have google.com/, you would then put the route for that in there. Also a parameter, so if you wanted to be /article/ID, if you wanted that to be in there as well. You could have the order, so the order of which it will show up, what group it will be in, and then it will give you the link to that page at the bottom. Also, you can do access and security once all those options have also been filled out. However, if you want to edit the web portal settings, this is where you can overall change the portal title and everything like that. So logos, the width of the logo, you can change the overall look of what this site will look like, so you can have it all of these different ones, and there's a lot, but you can also customize it if you want to. As you can see, all these features down here allow you to customize it even more, but these are the color schemes that you're typically going to be given, and I quite like hacker style, but I also really like denim mint, and obviously you can just hit on these and then save when you're done. Security is very simple. You can turn on authentication or disable it via login and password, and you can also turn on signing up for new users, and also set the login format, so you can either have an email, a phone, or a string. So there won't be a specific format needed, but this will obviously be the typical one that you might want to have. Then you can also have a custom domain or implement custom code if you wish. Now, under database, it's a really easy way of managing. So obviously databases are typically created in a coding platform. Anything that is inputted will go through the code and then be sorted into certain sections. But here, it's automatically done for you without having to obviously code it. So you can create new folders and things like that. You can view all of the users of your app in this page here. So you can see when the account was created, last time they modified something, a picture if they have a profile picture, what roles they have, what password and hash they have, their first name, last name, gender, whether they're blocked, what code, date last activity, all this little activities about them and information about them that you're able to use. Files, you're also able to see every file that is used on your website, and you're able to keep these in a nice area. And then obviously you have all your system files held in this place here. And you are able to create new data structures or folders in this section here as well. And by simply hitting on that, you're able to hit the structure name and the system name. And then as well as that, the same is also applicable for the creation of a folder. Once you've gone through the database options and you know where everything is held in there, you can move over to scenarios. So these are all the different scenarios that you basically have. So what a scenario is essentially the back-end logic behind your application. So everything that is logistically and what basically makes everything happen is going to be held in here. So as you can see, this feature has been changed: process, watch or unwatch request, check the code, send code, new user. All these different scenarios that could happen on the website will obviously trigger a certain action, and you can create new scenarios and things like that, and that's really, really useful. You can look at email confirmations, watching features, and anything that's also been deleted. And if you do need any help with this, and there's more information that you might want, there is obviously a basics behind the scenario button down here as well. The API section allows you to have a little look about the Directual API builder. Now, I'm not going to go too far into this, but you are able to obviously have different sections such as webhooks and things like that. So if you wanted it to have display things and link with external softwares to send messages when maybe somebody creates an account, there's so many different things that you can do with webhooks, but you're able to obviously create one very, very easily like this by posting in the system name. And obviously you can create a scenario if you want to, but you do not have to. API keys are held in here. So if you want to generate a new API key to use in a code, if you do want to use code, because you can use this if you do know how to code, but obviously most of the features are built in even if you don't know how. So that is a really great feature. It doesn't just cater towards people who do not know how to code, but it also caters towards people that do. Reports, you're able to have a little look at the overall statistics of how everything is going on your website. However, we won't have a little look at that today. Version management, you're able to have all the different updates of versions from your other apps and things like that, and also the current app, and you can create new versions when you make obviously like an addition or a bug fix or things like that. The description, let others know what is inside this version. So what have you changed in that version? For example, this is where you would put, when you're upgrading your phone software, there'll be a little bit of information, a bit of text about what has been changed in that update. This is exactly the same premise. You would put the description in here. You would obviously choose any structures, anything like that, and you would be able to make all the amendments that you need to and create that version and update it accordingly. And then finally, we have the page for plugins. Now, there are a large amount of plugins you're able to link this to. Everything from Slack to Telegram to Google to Socket to Ethereum, everything like that. Even weather forecasts you're able to implement into your website. So very, very easy to do. If you wanted to have Gmail, you'd be able to send emails directly from the website. If you wanted to see what the weather was, you'd be able to obviously set up the open weather area where you'll be able to have the weather forecast display on your website as well. If you're a movie website, you're able to have posters, ratings, and actors from specific movies also held on your website. And there's loads of things. So in order to add one of these, all you would need to do is hit on this. You would need to paste in your API key or the API key of that specific website. So as you can see, sign up at Open Weather and get a key. That will basically talk to Open Weather and get all the information, basically sending it through that text, and then you'd be able to install, and that would be there for your specific website, depending on what location you've picked on the Open Weather website. So that's also really, really useful to have, and they're very, very easy to implement. And then finally, we have app settings. This is basically where you can look at the name of the app, the description, the overall system name. You can look at all the developers if you want to add teams to it, and you can also view the hosting region depending on where in the world you are. So you have Ireland, you have Russia, the US, and also Canada. So very, very useful. So why might somebody want to use something like this? And as I said at the very, very beginning, it's mainly if you want to be able to create an app and create things like that, very, very useful, or websites and things like that without having any knowledge of coding. And I would definitely recommend it because of the amount of implementation, you can basically make it look exactly how you want, have as many web pages, have as many things as you want, and also have your database really neatly organized. And the fact that you can customize it yourself by creating folders, a very simple file structure like you would have on Windows Explorer or macOS Finder, I think is really, really good. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is looking to create a website or applications very, very easily and you do not have much knowledge or if any knowledge of coding in the past. But thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time and goodbye.